The courage to choose yourself, redefining success beyond society's script. What if the life you've been told to want isn't the life you actually need? I want to share something with you today that has the power to change everything. Recently, I had the privilege of sitting down with Lawnda Boston, a visionary whose work is quietly revolutionizing how Black women define success, freedom, and fulfillment. Lawnda Boston is not just challenging the status quo, she's dismantling it brick by brick, creating space for women to breathe, to choose, and to thrive on their own terms. Her insights are a lifeline for anyone who has ever felt the crushing weight of expectations that were never theirs to carry in the first place. Through her work, Lawnda is giving women permission to live authentically, to reject the narratives that have kept them small, and to step boldly into lives they design for themselves. She is making the world a better place by creating pathways to freedom, one woman at a time. Let me be clear. This conversation is not about rejecting tradition for the sake of rebellion. It's about something far more profound. It's about reclaiming your right to author your own story. It's about understanding that the script society handed you, the one that says you must be married by a certain age, have children by another, climb a corporate ladder, and sacrifice your peace for approval, was never written with your joy in mind. It was written to keep you compliant, quiet, and controlled. Lawnda Boston reminded me of something we've forgotten in our endless hustle. Success is not a one size fits all blueprint. It's not a checklist. It's not a race. And it certainly isn't something that should be defined by anyone other than you. Yet, so many of us spend our entire lives chasing a version of success that doesn't even belong to us. We chase it because we're told it's what we're supposed to want. We chase it because we're afraid of what people will say if we don't. We chase it until we're exhausted, depleted, and wondering why nothing feels fulfilling. Let's start with the most uncomfortable truth. We live in a world that punishes women, especially Black women, for daring to live outside the lines. If you're unmarried, you're incomplete. If you're childless, you're selfish. If you prioritize your career or your peace over traditional roles, you're cold, difficult, or broken. These narratives are so deeply embedded in our culture that we internalize them without question. We carry them like invisible chains, dragging them through every decision, every relationship, every quiet moment when we wonder if we're enough. But here's what Londa Boston's work reveals: those chains, they're not real, they're constructed, and you have the power to break them. Think about this for a moment. How many decisions have you made in your life because you were afraid of judgment? How many dreams have you deferred because they didn't fit the mold? How many times have you silenced your own voice because someone else's opinion felt louder, more legitimate, more important than your own truth? This is the cost of living by someone else's script. And it's a cost too many of us have been paying for far too long. Consider Dawn Kelly. Dawn left a successful corporate career to launch the Nourish Spot, a juice bar and health hub in Queens, New York, alongside her daughter. Dawn faced a career setback and the relentless pressure to conform to traditional success markers. She could have stayed in a role that drained her, clinging to the security of a paycheck and the approval of others. She could have played it safe. She could have kept her head down and her dreams quiet. Instead, she chose entrepreneurship. She chose to build her own legacy, not one dictated by societal expectations or fear. She leveraged digital tools, community engagement, and mentorship to grow her business from the ground up. And today, the Nourish Spot is more than a business. It provides healthy food, jobs, and mentorship for local youth. Dawn has expanded her influence globally, serving as a vendor at the US Open. Her journey shows us that fulfillment and impact come from following your own path, not from fitting into predefined roles. Dawn didn't wait for permission. She didn't apologize. She simply decided that her life was hers to design. And in doing so, she created something that not only sustains her, but uplifts an entire community. This is what Lawnda Boston calls redefining success on your own terms. And it's not just a nice idea, it's a survival strategy for women who are tired of living for everyone else. It's a blueprint for liberation. It's a roadmap to a life that feels good, not just one that looks good to everyone else. Let's talk about financial independence because here's the thing, money is not just about security, it's about freedom. It's about the ability to make choices without needing anyone's approval or support. It's about walking away from situations, relationships, and roles that no longer serve you without fear of collapse. It's about having options when the world tries to corner you into one narrow path. When you build your own career or business, you are not just earning a living, you are claiming autonomy. You are saying, I don't need to justify my choices to anyone. I don't need to shrink myself to fit into someone else's vision of who I should be. I am whole, capable, and free. You are declaring that your life, your time, and your energy belong to you, and no one else gets to dictate how you spend them. Angel Johnson understood this deeply. Angel, a U.S. Air Force veteran, founded Iconi, an activewear company, after being frustrated with the lack of options for women of all body types. She faced the dual challenge of breaking into a competitive industry and resisting the pressure to fit conventional business or personal molds. She could have accepted the status quo. She could have waited for someone else to create the products she needed. She could have convinced herself that her vision wasn't valid, but she didn't. Angel used e commerce tools and direct to consumer strategies to build a brand that centers empowerment and inclusivity. She created something from nothing, driven by a desire to create solutions that reflect her own needs and values, not to fit into someone else's expectations. Today, Iconi sells over 20,000 items annually nationwide, empowering women to feel confident and independent. Angel's journey was motivated by a refusal to wait for permission or validation. She didn't wait for the industry to make space for her. She carved out her own space and invited others in. This is the power of financial independence. It's not just about money, it's about agency, it's about the ability to live authentically without compromise. It's about building a life where your choices are yours alone. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Choosing a path outside traditional norms is terrifying. It takes courage, it takes strength, and it often feels incredibly lonely. Because when you step outside the script, people notice, they question, they judge, they project their own fears and insecurities onto your choices. They tell you you're making a mistake, they tell you you'll regret it, they tell you you're being selfish, reckless, foolish. But here's what Lawnda Boston wants you to know, you are not alone. There is a growing community of Black professionals and entrepreneurs who are forging their own way and thriving. They are rewriting the rules. They are proving that success can look 1,000 different ways, and every single one of them is valid. They are living proof that another way is possible. Tashayla Williams is a perfect example. After experiencing burnout, this Army veteran founded the TW Collective to help Black women professionals and business owners build equitable, sustainable workplaces. Tashayla faced the expectation to do it all and the pressure to conform to traditional paths in work and life. She was exhausted, overextended, and undervalued. She was running on empty, trying to meet everyone else's expectations while her own needs went unmet. Her transformation began when she rejected the notion that her value was tied to overwork or external validation. She stopped performing, she stopped pretending, she stopped sacrificing herself on the altar of other people's comfort. She focused on impact, equity, and strategy, teaching Black women to protect themselves through documentation and policy rather than overextending or conforming. She gave them tools to advocate for themselves, to demand what they deserve, and to walk away from environments that refuse to honor their worth. Today, her clients report increased confidence, better workplace outcomes, and a shift from survival to thriving. Tishayla has supported 12 Black women through consulting, leading to improved workplace equity and personal empowerment. Her work empowers others to define success for themselves and reject outdated narratives about what fulfillment should look like. Tishayla didn't just save herself, she created a blueprint for others to follow. She turned her pain into purpose and her struggle into a movement. This is what resistance looks like. It's not loud or dramatic, it's quiet, intentional, and deeply personal. It's the decision to stop performing for an audience that will never be satisfied. It's the choice to prioritize your peace over their approval. It's the courage to say, I matter. My life matters. My joy matters. And I refuse to spend one more day living for anyone but myself. And here's the beautiful part: when you make that choice, you give others permission to do the same. You become a living example of what's possible. You disrupt the narrative simply by existing authentically. You become a beacon for others who are still trapped in the script, showing them that freedom is possible, that joy is attainable, that a different life is within reach. So, what happens when more people and organizations embrace this idea? When we collectively decide that success is self defined, not dependent on marriage, children, or meeting traditional expectations, the world shifts. We experience greater diversity in how achievement looks and feels. People experience more authentic happiness, less pressure to conform, and increased innovation as individuals pursue paths aligned with their true values. Creativity flourishes, innovation explodes, communities become richer, more vibrant, more alive. Organizations benefit too. They gain employees and leaders who are more engaged, fulfilled, and resilient, contributing to healthier workplaces and communities. When people are free to be themselves, they bring their full creativity, passion, and energy to everything they do. They stop performing and start contributing. They stop surviving and start thriving. They stop hiding and start leading. This is not a small thing. This is a revolution. And it starts with you. Lawnda Boston's message is clear. Challenge yourself to question whose expectations you are living by. Take one concrete step, big or small, toward defining success on your own terms. Whether that means pursuing a new goal, setting a boundary, or simply giving yourself permission to want something different from what others expect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to make a grand announcement or burn everything down. You just need to start. Start by asking yourself, what do I actually want? Not what my family wants, not what my church wants, not what society wants. What do I want? And then give yourself permission to pursue it without guilt, without apology, without explanation. Because here's the truth that Lawnda Boston and these incredible women have shown us: softness is not weakness, rest is not laziness, choosing yourself is not selfish. These are radical acts of self love in a world that profits from your exhaustion and your compliance. These are revolutionary acts in a system designed to keep you small, silent, and subservient. You are brave for questioning the script. You are strong for choosing your own path. And you are not alone. Dawn Kelly, Angel Johnson, Tishayla Williams, and countless others are the proof that another way is possible. They are living, breathing examples of what happens when you release the cape, redefine strength, and embrace the life you were meant to live. So here's my challenge to you: stop waiting. Stop asking for permission. Stop apologizing for wanting more, for wanting different, for wanting a life that actually feels like yours. The world doesn't need another version of you that's been edited, filtered, and approved by committee. The world needs the real you, the whole you, the unapologetic, unfiltered, undeniably authentic you. What would your life look like if you stopped living for everyone else and started living for you? What would you do if you knew that your choices didn't need anyone's approval? What would you create if you believed that your version of success was just as valid as anyone else's? On what dreams would you chase? What boundaries would you set? What joy would you reclaim? The answer to those questions is your soft girl era. It's your sacred pause. It's your deep exhale from the superwoman script. It's your quiet but powerful return to softness, rest, self trust, and radical joy. And it's waiting at you right now, today. All you have to do is choose it. Choose yourself. Choose your peace. Choose your freedom. Choose the life that's been calling you, the one you've been too afraid to claim, the one you've been told isn't possible or practical or acceptable. Choose it anyway because you deserve a life that feels good, not just one that looks good to everyone else. You deserve rest. You deserve joy. You deserve softness. You deserve a life where your dreams matter, where your voice is heard, where your presence is celebrated, not tolerated. The revolution begins the moment you decide you're worth it, the moment you decide that your life belongs to you, the moment you stop performing and start living. That moment is now. Don't waste it. Don't wait for the perfect time or the right circumstances or someone else's blessing. Start today. Start now. Start with one small step toward the life you actually want. Your soft girl era is not a destination, it's a decision. And it's the most powerful decision you'll ever make.